Buenos dias, Gunners Collective. Back at it, you already know. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. And another one. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Like a motherfucking ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Like a motherfucking smack. Bye-ya. 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 Orale, as you can tell by that thumbnail right there, yes, it's magic time. Orale, in a menudo style of direct fashion, we're going to get straight into it. Something very near and dear to my heart. The motherfucking video I've been waiting on doing for 22 years. Even longer than that. My brother, my little canalito, has came home. Yes, indeed, I wrote graffiti on the bus. 22 years later, 22 years, this individual sat down incarcerated in the trenches through some of the most vicious times. And he did that. And how proud of him I am, words can't explain it. You know, we all have familia that is incarcerated, locked down in prison, doing time for one various reason or another. One thing I can say about my little brother is he sat down solid, did his time, didn't ask for much, did what he had to do and proceeded as such, right? And for that, I will forever look at him as not only the little brother that I knew he could be, but as my big brother as well. My big little brother, right? He did that. You know, there's not a lot of men, a lot of grown men that can say they've sat down and did 22, 23 years plus in the California Department of Corrections. This man did that. Was it an easy road? Was it a bumpy road? I'm sure it was. I haven't had the chance to sit down with him yet and discuss it and talk about it and hear his stories. I will. And perhaps maybe even one day, man, you know, you never know. One never knows, does one. I don't want to put fillers out there and let you guys know that if he'll be on my channel or not, because I'm trying to keep him away from the limelight. I'm trying to keep him away from the bullshit. But at the same time, this man does have definitely stories to tell. He's been through it all. He's seen it all. He went in locked up into hostilities, a lot of this, what's going on right now, this integration. He was involved in all of it. So I know he has a lot of things to speak on, a lot of things to say about it. But I'm happy. And I wanted to tell you guys just how happy I am. And what I wanted to speak about is this, simply. You know, 1998, I get incarcerated. I go to prison to do a 6-year bid. And that was the last time I seen my brother. So it's been longer than 22 years for me. It's been since 1998, since I'm actually got to embrace my brother, show him some canalismo, some love. We haven't had a chance to see each other. I did try to visit him, but me being an ex-convict, they made me go through all kinds of hoops and loops and whoop-de-whoops, and it just didn't work out. There was no way they were going to let me see my brother. They thought I'd be a bad influence on him. And it was what it was. You know, so that we never had that chance to make that happen. I tried, but eventually over time, we seen that it wasn't going to happen. And so we just wrote each other, talked on the phone, and that was that. I've always supported my brother, whether it be writing, because I'm not going to sit here and say I was the best fucking brother that you could have while incarcerated. I didn't write him all the time. You know, life takes its course. When you're out here living life, you don't know what type of situation is going to arise and where you're going to be at in life. So I didn't always have the spot to fucking write him or the chance, but he was always in my mentality, in my mind, in my heart, and I forever thought about him. You know, there were so many times that I laid down at night and I was like, man, if I could switch places with them, I would, without a moment's notice. You know, then you start to have children, then you start to live your life, and you're like, you get accustomed to what's going on out here, and you kind of forget about what's going on in there. With me, it was hard to do that. It's always been hard to let the realities of prison and the penitentiary and things that happen in there go, because I had a loved one that was sitting down doing time. See, everything that would happen, all the business and all the news that I would hear, it impacted and affected him. So I always stressed on it. You know, there ain't nothing like stressing when your little brother is locked up, man. Most people I know that are doing their thing, man, they don't come back after 20-something years. You know, hey, nature takes its course in there, and you don't know what you can be caught up in. Every different day is a different day. You know, you do pegadas, you're doing lockdown situations, you're going with the flow. Sometimes it's downtime, man. You're on lockdown. And every hardship that he's going through, I'm going through with him, because I'm feeling his pain, having went through it myself and knowing exactly what happens and what entails. But yes, he has come home. And that's what matters to me the most. Now, let me recap my brother's situation for those of you that didn't know, man. I spoke on it a long time ago, and he asked me, you know, he literally asked me, he was like, hey, carnal, is it all right if you take those videos down to me? Because I'm going to have a board hearing, and I don't want it to affect my board hearing. And like that without any hesitation. Those videos came down, but now that he is out, I am willing and I am able to speak on it. Now, my brother got incarcerated back in the days, for some shootings, allegedly, that they said he was involved in, and a couple home invasions, things of that nature. Or actually, it wasn't a couple, it was one. But he caught a couple different cases off of that one. And that's the way it is in California. They like to stack shit and give shit piggyback rides in a menudo style in direct fashion. That's just how they get down. So that's what he found himself incarcerated for. Now, as a youngster, this was his first time ever being locked up. And I remember feeling for him. At the same time he was going through his shit, I had picked up an attempted murder myself for a pegada I did in prison. So our communication was sparse, but when we did have communication, I remember he was facing 295 years, period. He kept getting at me while he was in county jail. Bro, what do I do? Because me being the older brother that had been incarcerated half my life already, who better than to ask advice from, right? Because I knew the system. So I would tell him, hey, don't take their fucking first deal. Just sit down like a motherfucking solid ass individual. Throw your muzzle on lock. Don't say too much. Open your eyes, clean your ears out, and start to get post up. Now, he was in the Merced County Jail, to which he had a lot of love there, not only because he was a solid individual living off his own merits. See, he didn't use me. He didn't utilize my name in the town to win, because at that time I was highly and very active. But he didn't say, that's my brother, hey, can I get by? Can I slide by? What's up, Charlie, man? Everything he did on his own merits, and that's why I'm so proud that he was able to do it as a grown man. See, when you go to prison, you have to be a man. No one can do it for you. So what if your jefito was a fucking gangster? So what if your brother fucking put in a lot of work? So what if your tío was a tecato, but at the same time he put in a lot of work? Who cares, right? At the end of the day, all that matters is what you do. You have your own name. It's time to make your own bones. It's time to make your own stilo. It's time to live off your own fucking sweat of your own brow. And that's exactly what he did. Now, I didn't lace him up this way. Every way that I laced him up was negatively. Do I blame myself every fucking day I lay my head on my pillow? I blame myself for every second that he did incarcerated. Because if I wasn't out there leading by example, if I wasn't out there doing crime and getting him involved in the mix, that motherfucker might be working at Walmart right now. I don't know. But at the same time, I definitely was that negative and that bad influence. See, you always have that one individual, that one male in your family that you look towards. And that's that one. With me, it was my tío. I've spoken on it several times. Him being incarcerated in and out of prison my whole life, I thought that was the thing to do. Sasuke, I was going that route. I was going to be there. It was only a matter of time. And I think my eyes finally opened up when we hit that DVI Tracy yard together. See, that's when I finally had made it. I achieved exactly my dream, and I realized it was for the birds, homie, not the huelga, right? It was for bullshit. We sat there incarcerated on that yard together, and I said, damn, I feel like a baboso. My whole life I strived to fucking be incarcerated. My whole life I strived to get to a certain level within my group and my cause. So that way maybe one day, man, I could sit here and do just this, be incarcerated on a yarda with my tío and be that one. Well, guess what? I got there and it wasn't all that, homie. It was a whole lot of burpees and a whole lot of bullshit. And we did that together. Now, I will say this. Once I was able to achieve that, one of my short-term goals, which was a long-term goal at that point. And I realized exactly what it entailed and exactly what it was. I realized, man, it wasn't all that. Okay? Now I thought about my little brother. And I know deep down inside, he was just trying to prove himself, not only to himself, to his father, but also to me. You ain't the baddest one in the family, Holmes. I'm badder than you. Now, he got incarcerated on his first beef. They stretched him 27. Of course, he got the 85 on it, but it wasn't all that. They were trying to give him centuries. Like I said, he was facing 295 fucking years, to which they didn't want to give him no love. They kept offering him 30 to life, 30 to life, 30 to life. I said, no, gong show. Don't take no 30 to life, because in California, most of us know that life means life. The L is the Izl, right? And that's it. Orderly, young L, they ain't playing. They're going to try to give you the L, right? And I said, don't take that. Fight for a date. So he sat in the county jail for exactly 4 years until they offered him 27 with the strike, to which he said, the wind's blowing, I'll take that one. And I was proud of that moment that he was able as a man to really sit down, because it ain't easy to sit in the county jail for 3 to 4 years. Okay, most of us want to get the fuck on out. Shit, I was in the county for a week. I'll take the 4-year deal. I'm out of here, right? But when you're facing that minimal amount of time compared to facing 200 and something years, it's definitely a difference. Okay, so he sat and he fought for his life. Not a lot of people in this world have to go through that fighting for their life. But then not a lot of people in this world are doing the types of crimes that he did or that I did or that a lot of other people did that happen to be in my circle. When you choose to live that life, you choose to be part of that realness in the streets, you're going to have to face a lot of adversity. You're going to have to face a lot of things that not the average man could or would face. And it's up to you and how you decide to proceed, how you decide to rock, depending upon what type of man you are or what type of individual you are, how you're going to roll with that. Now, everybody is different, and I'm not here to defecate on no man's character or say because one man said something or one man didn't, does that make him any less of a man? Period. Charlie, Holmes, that ain't the way it rolls. I'm talking in this particular situation, my brother kept his motherfucking muzzle on lock. It's the way I taught him. Okay? We were always told by our superiors and our fucking, our family, don't say shit, man. If you done did the shit, just do the shit, right? You done did it, do your time. Stop acting like a poop butt, man. Stop blaming other people for your flaws. Just do it. I used to always tell my little brother I was his protector. We used to do crime together, allegedly, back in the days. I just said allegedly, right? Don't hold it against me. Statute of limitations. We used to do bullshit, and I used to always tell him, look, Anon, this is the way it goes. It'd be me, him, and a homeboy. I said, look, all right, you guys ready? I was the quarterback, running back, wide receiver. My brother was the running back. This is the way we're going to go, right? We're going to do this highlight. Once we do this highlight, we're going to get a whole bunch of petty. I'm going to get the majority of it, okay? Shh, the wind's blowing. Once we do this highlight, if anything happens, I did that. I'm going to go sit down. You guys were not there. I'm going to take this beef. Because I thought it was the righteous thing to do. First, I felt bad that I was taking my little brother, but he was a big old boy, and I needed the muscle to put behind my hustle, right? But at the same time, I knew deep down inside I was doing something bad. I was a bad influence. So my way of getting around that was like, if we get caught, I will take the case. So when my brother eventually ended up catching this case, to which I was not around because I was incarcerated, I felt bad because I wasn't there to take the case for him. I felt bad because I wasn't there to ride the beef. I wasn't there to do the time to get him out. But now as an older man, I got gray in my whiskers and he's already did the time. Now we could actually sit down and have a conversation. And now I feel he has achieved a different level of mentality and being a man. That was, he's done more time than I did. And it's crazy to say that. I got a total of 19 years incarcerated throughout YA, county jails, and prison. Whereas this man has 22, 23 years straight. One shot. He did his. No installment plans. I said, I'll just take mine straight. He did that. What he went through, times that night when he felt he was alone, I can't make up for that. I can never make up for that. Money, hugs, kisses, embracement, all that doesn't make up for that. He missed out on a lot of his life. And now it's time for him to start living his life. Now he's given himself the opportunity. He never did anyone dirty, never told on anyone, did his own time, rode like a motherfucker for his cause and his people and his beliefs. You can't hate on that. Anyone that would hate on that doesn't know what time it is. Period. To say I'm proud is beyond words. To say I'm happy, I'm elated. My little brother is back. That's facts. Now, there's plenty of times that I sat down wondering exactly what he was going through at that particular time. There was chances when he had phones or he made phone calls and we were able to chop it up and conversate. And, every time he stood strong. What's going on? Oh, it ain't nothing to it but to do it, man. I'm getting my mind right so I can shine right, bro. It's all good in here. And he would give me the little get down on what was going on around him and the temperature of the yard and exactly what was going on. But he never told me too much. And I appreciated the fact that he never went out of his way to give me the whole get down of what they had going on. What they were doing in there was their business. What we had going on the streets, he was trying to get a little feria out, right? Was our business. He never told me too much. And that was the righteousness in him. See, that's what real motherfuckers do. Hey, we don't need to bring our problems to the streets out there, homes. What we got going on in here, this is a different planet. That's it. This is Mars, homeboy, right? And they were doing that. And he was right in the mix and in the middle of it. Now, he's been through many different situations. They shipped him out of state. He went and did time in Arizona when that was popping. He was out there in Eloy, Arizona. So he knows how that is. He definitely did time in High Desert State Prison, Corcoran, New Corcoran, Delano, Kern Valley. He was in the mix on everything. There was a lot of places and a lot of incarceration done by him. In 23 years, 22 plus, you're going to get moved around a lot. You're going to be in a lot of different situations. He handled his shit like a man does. I can only wonder and think some of the times he felt alone, and some of the times he was probably wondering, man, what's up with my familia? Because like I said, we ain't the best writers, right? I didn't write them all the time like I should have. I did what I could do. Thank God for other members of my family that actually, did have the time and took the time to sit down and write them as much as they should have. I kind of thought about it like this. When I was incarcerated and I did my time, nobody wrote me, right? But you got to think beyond that box. You got to think about, different people in different situations. And me knowing my brother and knowing the way he was, he always looked towards, that family member to be there, be that rock for him, And because I couldn't be there, I felt like I let him down and I felt like I couldn't face him. Well, now's the time to face him. To explain my situations, explain his situations. And I'll totally be open ears for it, and I know he will for me, because at the end of the day, no matter what, nothing changes, still my little brother, right? Bang, bang. In a menudo style and direct fashion. Now, a lot has changed. I've become this personality on YouTube. He probably watches me and is like, look at this fucking baboso. He's doing way too much, right? And I respect it, but I ain't affected by it. I'm going to continue to do what I does, because I know at the end of the day, I have a righteous cause, and my cause being the uniting of all people, man. The coming together, just providing a platform for people to come hear some good stories, some good content, and also providing some laughs. And at the same time, I get telling about my adventures of getting all the punani. At the same time, I be getting Arby's. Bang, bang. And we already know how that goes. At least some of us do. The 11. Now, I know my brother ain't the stilo. He ain't the type to be all in the limelight. But like I said, do I? Do I really know how he is? Time has changed. He's become a different person, a different man. He's become a grown man. He was a man while incarcerated. He was 19 years old. Now he's a 40-year-old man. So time has changed. Time changes everybody. So I can't sit here and tell you exactly how he is. I just know after 22 years, I'm going to be very happy to lay my eyes on him and to actually see him in the flesh. Since 1998, we're talking about 90s, I haven't seen my little brother. The shit don't stop. The bond is always going to be there. Nothing changes. He might feel some type of way. I might feel some type of way at first. Like, hey, man, fuck you, puto. You should have wrote me a letter, sent me a package. I could count the packages on my fingers, right? But I remember, and I'm going to tell you guys a story. I remember being incarcerated. This is something I've never forgotten. I hope he watches this. I was doing time. And I used to call my jefitas on Friday. Every Friday, I used to call my jefita, and I used to, just kind of see what's going on, gauge the temperature on the familia, see what's happening. I was just happy to talk to my peoples. And I remember my brother was living at my jefitas. This is way back in the days, man, 90s. And he was in and out of the pad, so I never caught him. I'd ask, hey, is he there? Nope, he's gone. He was doing whatever he was doing, And I remember one day I was able to get a hold of him. I actually called, he accepted the call, and I was like, hey, what's up? I was happy because I finally got to talk to him. I was like, what's up, fool? What you got going on? And I'll never forget the words he told me. He said, fool, don't talk to me. He said, you can get at me when you get out. Me and you have nothing to say to each other. And he handed the phone to my jefita. And I remember thinking to myself, I was hurt. So I was getting my heart hurt, right? And I was thinking, why would my little brother do this to me? But I understood. He was disappointed. He was disappointed because I wasn't there to help him out of what he had going on, right? Well, for a long time, I felt the same way. I never forgot that conversation. And I was like, you're on your own. That's it, right? You're on your own, fool. Whatever you got going on, that's on you. But as you become an older man and you start to identify with exactly what he's going through, you start to realize that wasn't the right way of thinking. I didn't lace him up like that. I didn't teach him to let your familia down. I didn't teach him, to let your people fucking just sit on the back burner and simmer like a fucking pot of arroz, right? And so it was up to me to change that mentality within myself. The mentality has changed. I can never get back the time that we've lost. And it's all because of crime, man. It's all because we were trying to take the easy way out and get a little bag. Now there's ways to get bags together without having to do that, or even get bags individually by going to work, man, and just being a productive member of society to obtain the things you want in life. That's all I push. I hope that he lives a righteous life. I hope that he doesn't go back. And I hope that he does great. I will be giving you updates. You will get to see us when we first see each other. I will be filming that straight up. You're going to get to see the reuniting of me and my brother. So I can't wait for that. I'm looking forward to that. That's any day now. But we're going to do that like that. And I just wanted to say, 22 years later, from a guy that has been through it all, And I'll elaborate later. I'm just a happy man today. And you already know what it is. With that being said, I hope that you move smooth with a purpose. I hope that you get everything that you want coming to you. Remember, at the end of the day, if you have familia that are incarcerated and you don't really write them and you don't really, you kind of forgot about them, man, don't do that, because you're going to suffer the consequences later. They're going to feel some type of way. They're going to be like, hey, what about me, eh? You know what I mean? You don't forgot about me. Nah, I never forgot about you, man. You know, I just forgot about my ways. And that's what it was. Anyways, with that being said, if you like this, please hit that like and subscribe and a thumbs up. If not, you can hit that thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head. Now, where's this motherfucking magic crown? We're going to continue to strive and struggle and do what we does right here on Gunners Collective, and that's for the benefit of all people. Bang, bang. This is the gun. My brother's out. That's it. There's two of us now. Bang, bang.